we say, to find out what's going on. One street over from where you living. And we got a couple of things going on today. I'm going to have to get right to it because I've got to make a phone call because we're going to be talking to some folks from a group called Mark209. Mark209. Nathaniel and Jim are going to be calling them in just a second. But they've got Christmas from the Heart of Nashville is what they're putting on a show, and comedy and music and all that kind of thing. So we're going to get the chance to talk to them. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're all about. But before we do that, this is a really big announcement. Lee Marie, I've noticed that Holman's been open. Holman Jewelers, the Holmans have been my jewelers ever since I got here. I don't do a lot of jewelry, but I found them early on. I've been going to them all along. And they, of course, were taken out by the tornado, but they're having their ribbon cutting today. We're so excited. So I actually called and tried to get Brian on, but he's like, I've got a short season. I don't have time, LaVern. So, or I messaged him. And so, but we're really excited for you guys that you are back up and running. What a testimony of just the fortitude of this county and how we have put these businesses back together. I'm just so proud of my county and so excited for Holman Jewelers having their ribbon cutting today at 9. If you can be a part of that, of course, I'll be at school, but I will be with you guys in spirit. Love those guys, and I'll be popping in. I've got some things I need them to do. Nothing urgent, though. I don't want to put any pressure on them, but I'm sure they would love to have your business, and appreciate so much White Jewelers, and I know they made a space for them. What a cool, don't you just love our community? Isn't that just amazing? Just amazing what we do here. But again, that's going on today. Ribbon cutting at Holman Jewelers. Be sure and go and check that out today at 9 o'clock if you can, and just give them a big old hug and say, welcome back. Miss seeing them there. Okay, so what we're doing today, normally this would be United Way's Day to come on at 7:30. They are giving that time to Kathy Gunn from the YMCA, so that's going to be fun talking to her. She's going to be popping in here at 7:30. But we're going to do one of those fun phone calls. Y'all know how much I love doing these phone calls live on the air because that's how we do these things. And it works. You know what? It works really well. So we're going to make this phone call, and we're going to talk. I already talked to Nathaniel and Jim just a moment ago. So we're going to, cross our fingers and hope everything works just exactly like it's supposed to, again, like it did a few minutes ago. And we're going to give them a buzz, and we're going to get them in here, and we're going to talk to them about what they've got going on with their show. So let's just see if the magic of radio works right now. Let's see. Hang on. I got to make sure I do my technology right, y'all. So we're going to give it a shot. All right. Hopefully they'll be there when they pick up the phone. Let's see here. I should have warned them that the minute they pick up, they're live. Nathaniel, Jim?
Good morning.
We're live on the air. I forgot to tell y'all that whenever I called you a while ago that there's no call screener. We're just, we're a little radio station, so we don't have a call screener. So you're live. Say hello to Robertson County.
Don't you worry.
Say hello to Robertson County.
Hello, Robertson County. How's everybody doing this morning?
We're doing great. Now tell me a little bit. It's so funny because my friend Lee Marie, if I have an opening, I can be like, hey, I've got a slot tomorrow morning. You got any ideas? And she comes up with some of the most interesting things. So I'm quite interested in what in the world, Mark209. Okay, that's how I put you in. I wish I could have put your names and get a bit of explanation, but they don't give us a lot of room on YouTube and Facebook to explain our, what we're talking about sometimes. So, especially YouTube, I only have just a few words. So I had to just put Mark209. So this is a show that you guys do, right?
Right.
Well, Mark209 is the name of the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mark209 we are a Christian country group out of Nashville, Tennessee, is where we're based out of. The name is the mile marker, the Dead Center Nashville, exit 209, mile marker 209. That's where we get our name from. And
okay,
every year.
Explain that again. What about a mile marker? I didn't catch all that.
So mile marker 209. If you ever go downtown Nashville and you get off at Church to Montgomery on Broadway, go to anything that is Nashville, that's at exit 209.
Y'all know I'm a former traffic reporter, right?
No. Well, there you go.
I was U-turn LaVern for 28 years. So as soon as you said
Well,
mile marker 209.
you should have been right up on this.
Yeah,
you should have been right up on it.
So, as soon as you said mile marker 209, I knew exactly what you're talking about. But that's hysterical. I love the history of that name. That is fabulous, guys.
We chose it because, quite frankly, country fans, they know the exit, they know the mile marker, so they listen to our music. Christian stations look at it and think it's a Bible verse, and we just don't tell anybody they're wrong, and we let them both enjoy the music.
That's great.
It's kind of funny when we when we first announced the name, a friend of ours is working down on Music Row, and he came up and he said, "So what's Mark209? What do you get it?" Nick turned around and said, "Well, where do you work?" And he said, "Well, you know where I work. I work down on Music Row." And he said, "Really? What exit do you take?" And he said, "Well, I take two." Oh, come on.
That's great. That is fabulous. I'm of course looking at Mark209 too. I'm just curious.
Yeah. You're not alone. We have people do it all the
We
time.
have people looking for chapter 20, verse 9. They've
never found that.
Yeah, there's no. I knew immediately. There's no. There's no chapter 20. So I'm like, okay, 2 verse 9 maybe. That's cool, guys. I love it. I love it. That's really fun. That's fun.
So that's the name of the group, and every year our last show is always in the White House area. That's
Okay.
how we end our Christmas season, but also just the entire year of shows that we do coast to coast. Jim goes to church there. That's his home church, and we always stop by and do one final concert for the congregation there and anybody in the community, the surrounding area that wants to come out and enjoy a great show.
Yeah, our church, my church has done a lot for our group, and it's kind of our way of giving back to our church.
I love that. So when is this happening? What's the date, time? Let's get that out there. So because some people only listen for a few minutes and they're at work and all that. So let's make sure and get the particulars out real quick.
Well, it's tomorrow evening, the 20th, 7 p.m. at White House Church at 2214 Highway 31W.
Okay, do that one more time, the full of it. So it's the 20th, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., White
7
House
p.m.
Church.
White House Church at 2214 Highway 31W.
Awesome. Very cool. So what can we expect at this show? Because, Lady Maria says that it's just hilarious and it's fun and it's great and, So
I'm glad she looked this up.
We tell people it's controlled chaos is what it is.
I love it.
We're gonna do everything from your Christmas standards to Joy. It is 2 hours of pure Christmas music. We're not doing our original Christian country music mixed in with a little bit of Christmas music. It is a full Christmas show. It's 2 hours of Christmas music.
Awesome. I love it. And so it's like if you really want to get in the spirit, this is getting in the spirit. I love it. That's great. Are you there? I think we lost y'all. Oh my gosh, did the call drop?
No, we're still here.
Okay, here. Okay, for some all of a sudden I just couldn't hear you at all. Okay, so I love that idea. So I am curious though, a little bit. She's talking about the hilarity of it all. So do y'all do skits, or are you just fun and just very? Do you just?
You know who Phil Cross is, right?
Do what?
You know who Phil Cross is, right? The songwriter. Yes. Whenever we first got started, I sat down with Phil and I said, "Man, help me out." I said, "We don't know what we're doing. We're just trying." Well, he had came and seen our show, and he said, "I've never seen a show like this." And both Nathaniel and I have theater background.
Okay.
And he said, "Here's what you do, guys." He said, "This is my suggestion to you." He said, "Don't put on a concert." He said, "Put on a show."
All right.
He said, "All the groups out there are putting out concerts." He says, "But they don't have the ability to put together a show."
Yeah.
And he said, "Put together a show." And he said, "Add in the comedy, add in everything, and make it a show." And he said, "Whenever you do that, you'll separate yourself from everybody else and make something unique." And that's what we've done. We do it with our regular programming throughout the year, and we also do it with our.
So yes, it's not that they're skits. It's more of it's just the banter that we have on stage. We joke, we tell stories, we kick stuff left and right. It's just a lot of crowd participation in a way for them to stay engaged in what we're doing, mixed in with all the music. So we find ourselves, there's not a show goes by that we don't make ourselves laugh, whether anybody else laughs or not. We're going to have fun on stage, and we're going to make sure that we not only enjoy what we're doing, but we have a ball doing it. And we figure if we do that, the audience will come along with us.
I love it. So how long have you guys been together? I think you may have covered that early, but I missed it. I was so intrigued by your name.
No, so the group started in 2011.
Actually, at the Quartet Convention in Louisville.
Yep.
At the which convention?
Quartet Convention, National Quartet Convention in Louisville.
The Quartet Convention. I did not know there was such a thing as a Quartet Convention.
Oh, yeah.
So every year there's a large convention that takes place that is basically it started out with just quartets and grew into basically Southern gospel music. and we tell people we're country music with a Jesus kick. So we kind of have a little bit of a home in Southern gospel because we are 4-part harmony. So think Oak Ridge Boys if you enjoy that harmony, that style, but with modern country instrumentation. So we do we have a little bit of a space there because we are 4-part country, but yet we're still accepted by the country scene because of the way we do it and what our instrumentation is. So that means throughout the year we do everything from prisons, presidents' houses, churches, fairs, casinos, you name it. We've sung it all.
So you say 4-part harmony, but I'm only hearing 2 guys. So how do you pull that
Yeah,
off?
that's because 2 of the guys are still asleep.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. So it is a full. It's a full 4-piece band then.
Yeah.
Or
So
it's a four-man band.
There's 4 vocalists, tenor, lead, baritone, and bass, and then we have a keyboard player who's got that very showman Jerry Lee Lewis, honky tonk, foot up on the piano, go at it style.
Okay.
And then we if we need it, we have a full band that we travel with sometimes. The show for our Christmas show, we just have our band leader, which is our piano player. And that we do it that way, honestly, because it allows the people to kind of focus on what we're saying and what we're doing. So it allows them to engage with us a little bit better. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. It sounds fun. It sounds wonderful. You talk about that 4-part harmony. I'm a C of C, Church of Christ, and we harmony. Do y'all have any of that in your background? Did you grow up in an a cappella church?
We get asked to do a cappella all the time. In fact, we had yesterday. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. Monday. We sang at the James B. Allred. We try to give back, and our way of giving back is we perform in jails and prisons.
That's very cool.
That's one way.
Today we're singing in the Blount County jail in Aniana, Alabama. But Monday we're singing at the James B. Allred Maximum Security Prison in Iowa Park, Texas. And one of the prisoners came up to us afterwards, and he was like, "Man, I love the harmony, but I want to hear an acapella. Can you do an acapella?" So we just sat right there and popped one out for him.
Yeah, and that's cool because anytime I hear that, because I grew up in it. Now I love contemporary Christian worship. I love it. I love it all, and I love strings, all of that. But that is, my heritage, and man, we can harmonize. We know our harmony, and so it's fun. And I love hearing just good harmony, whether you've got instruments with it or not. And I do love, a cappella as well. So I think that's great. That sounds like you got a great, fun show.
We do, and we try to make sure that it's something for all ages. We even have a whole section that we do kind of geared towards kids because it is a family-friendly show. So it's everybody of all ages is welcome. We tell people, don't worry about bringing your kids. You don't have to worry about them being antsy or anything. They're going to have fun. We're going to keep them engaged. We'll keep them entertained. But we realize there's not a lot of places nowadays that you can go out as a family and get good, clean entertainment that everybody enjoys. And that's what we wanted to provide, especially during this Christmas season. So that's what we built the show for.
And this is complete. Did you say it's free? So people just need to show up.
Yeah, all they got to do is show up. What we do at Jim's church when we do it is basically we take a love offering. So I tell people, don't worry about it. Just bring your wallet. You'll figure out how it works. But it's really simple to get in the door. It's free.
Yeah, there you go. But that's absolutely appropriate. You guys got to make a living. So are you doing this full time, or is this something you do? Is this your gig? Is this your full time gig?
This is what we do full time. We travel coast to coast. We take January off, and we travel pretty much every other month. And sometimes we're gone for days at a time from our family. Sometimes we're gone for a month or more. We have tours that range from literally a few days to I think our longest one is almost a month or a little over a month. And so it's one of those things where we've been blessed with the opportunity to get to do it. And we sing at anything that you can imagine as far as show size and setting, theaters, churches, prisons, casinos, presidents' houses. We've done everything, and it's
for both of the Bush presidents at their homes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we've been given the opportunity to perform at such an array of different places that it really makes what we do unique, and so it's what we do full time, coast to coast.
That's cool. So you said presidents, you mean U.S. presidents?
Oh yeah, we sang for President Bush 41 and 43 at their vacation home in Kennebunkport, Maine.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
we got invited in to do a private concert for the family. One year we ended up creating a good friendship with the family, and then the next year they came to our concert. Which let me tell you, it's kind of hard to follow when they closed the doors of the church and they opened the doors to the sanctuary and they brought Barbara Bush in and everyone applauded, and then they closed the doors and waited a few minutes. They opened the doors to the sanctuary and they brought President Bush in and everybody gives a standing ovation. It was our first time at the church, and they waited for the show to start. And then they opened the door, and we walked in, and everybody's like, "Who's these guys?" It's really,
Oh,
it's really hard to follow a president,
well,
but
yeah.
it's part of what we do. But they're really sweet people, and it was a lot of fun. It was humbling to be able to be asked to go into their home and do private concerts for them, and we were blessed to be able to get to do that.
That's wonderful. What a fun career you guys are having. This is great. I love this, and how exciting. So you're coming home. Are all of you guys in this area then? Do you all live in this area?
No, two of the guys live in the Nashville area. Two of our guys live in Alabama, and one of our guys lives in Indiana. So we're kind of from all over, and we get together in Nashville and head out from there for every tour. I tell people if they're looking for the concert tomorrow, if they're not sure if they're going to find the church, just look for a gigantic yellow bus. It's kind of hard to miss it. We have a old school yellow Silver Eagle tour bus. And it's got its own Facebook page. People have seen it so often they post pictures of it all across the country.
Okay, I got
So
to know.
just
How do
look
I
for Big
find
Yellow
it?
Bus.
How do I find it? How do I find it?
Just if you're on Facebook, all you got to do is search Yellow Bus, and you'll see
You're
a
kidding.
Facebook page with the yellow tour bus on it. It's a yellow and black tour bus.
Yellow bus.
Speaking of Facebook, they can find us too while they're at it. Mark209,
There
no
you
space.
go.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Hey, all of our
Yellow
music is
bus.
out on Spotify
Do
as
what?
well, and any other digital media out there. We just released a Christmas single out to country radio. It's doing really well. It's been picked up, worldwide. It's getting play everywhere. There's a music video out on that on YouTube as well.
And so
Called
give us the
Christmas
top.
Song.
What's it called again? Go ahead. I'm walking on you. I don't mean it to do that.
No problem. It's, the title of it is Christmas All Over the World.
Okay. Christmas all over the world, and your bus is sharp, guys.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, that's a good-looking bus. I have a 2-year-old grandson, and his favorite color is yellow. So I'm going to have to show
we've
him
got
your
something for
yellow
him.
bus.
Hey, we worked with the toy provider for months and actually came up with custom yellow bus plushies. They look just like our coach from the.
So cool. That's so cute. I would love to bring them tomorrow night, but we've got the flu going through their family, so you don't want them. We don't want to be spreading the flu out, but unfortunately, their household has the flu right now. But my goodness, that bus is good looking, guys. That looks really good. And I mean, you guys have just been all over. This is great. And then we just go I went to the bus first. I'm sorry. So I need to go to Mark209. Uh-oh, the call dropped. Let's try it again. We're going to call you guys back. Hang on just a second. Give me just a second. We're going to give them a call back. I was afraid sometimes that happens. Calls drop, unfortunately. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get you back on here, guys. We're trying to call you again. Those cell phones are not always. Are you there?
Sorry I couldn't come to the phone right now, but if you will leave me a brief message with your name and number.
We're going to hang that one up, and we're going to try it again. It's so funny. Have you ever been on a phone call with folks and that you don't even realize you've been disconnected, and then all of a sudden they don't say anything? You're like, oh, the call dropped. And I have that happen sometimes because I can talk nonstop without taking a breath, and then all of a sudden I'll realize, oh, they're not on the phone with me anymore. So that may have just happened with us here just now, but we're going to see if we can get Mark209 back on. And yes, their website's or their Facebook page is super.
Sorry I couldn't come to the phone right now, but if you will leave me a brief
still getting
message with
voicemail.
your name and
Still
number.
getting voicemail. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shut that off. You're listening to 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and this is One Street Over. We've been having a fun conversation with a band titled Mark209. Again, the band's called Mark209, and they got their name from mile marker 209 in Nashville. I mean, that's hysterical. When they started talking about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny, because I can't begin to tell you how many wrecks and things I covered about traffic at mile marker 209 in Nashville over 28 years. It's a famous mile marker. Everybody knows it, but we're going to try to get them back on the call again and see if we can get them to pick up.
Sorry, I couldn't come to the phone
It's
right now.
just going to
If you will leave-
voicemail. I don't know what happened, guys. How strange. We've got it all going to voicemail. We'll try redialing it and see what happens. We'll give it another minute here. But we're having a great conversation. This is a band that's going to be at the White House Church, I think is the name of the church. I did not write it down because I thought they were going to be here with me to tell me again. But we're going to try dialing them one more time and see if we can't get these guys back on. We're expecting Kathy Gunn from the Y. She's going to be coming in here to talk to us about all the things happening at the Y. But we're going to give these guys another try here. Let's try it one more time. All right. Maybe this will work this time. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to say a little prayer that they can pick up and continue our conversation. Ringy, ringy.
Sorry, I couldn't come to the phone
Oh,
right now,
no.
but if you will leave me a brief
Voicemail
message
again.
with your name and number.
Oh, well, not sure what happens, but we may give it just a minute and try it one more time. But basically, at the White House Church tomorrow night, I think I wrote it all down. The White House Church. I did not write down the address, but White House Church tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Just look for that beautiful yellow bus. My goodness, it is a pretty thing. When they were talking about it, I was like, I wonder what it looks like. It's pretty sharp, but it's the yellow bus, and the band's called Mark209. They've got their 2024 Christmas tour coming to an end tomorrow night, and you're going to have a chance to see them. It sounds like a absolutely fabulous show. I'd love to take my grandkids, but again, not going to spread the flu around. But it's happening at the White House Church tomorrow night, 7 p.m., a band called Mark209. They say, come out. You're going to get 2 solid hours of Christmas music. They've got a song, Christmas Around the World, that's been released that you can pick up on Spotify and all the platforms if you want to try to check that out. But what an interesting story that they met at a quartet convention and then formed a band off that. And so that means beautiful, magnificent harmonies. And I'm sure it would be just a show that would really put you in the Christmas spirit. If you're having a hard time getting in the Christmas spirit, sounds like if you go to that show that you would definitely come away in the Christmas spirit. We're going to try it one more time, guys. We're going to try it one more time so we can get them on. So if it doesn't go through this time, we're going to move on. I don't know what's going on, but if they're, get out of... Are you there?
Hey there.
Hey!
Yeah.
Don't know what happened, but the call just suddenly dropped, and I kept calling it, and it was going to voicemail. So I decided to pause for a second.
We're in a weird area. We'll go from having 2 or 3 bars of 5G to 1 bar all of a sudden. So
I hear
What
ya.
can we say? It's Alabama.
they put
What part of
the
Alabama? I got a kid that lives in Huntsville.
we're in Aniana.
I don't have any. Where's that in adjacent to Huntsville?
So Huntsville, south of Huntsville, this is going to be about 35, 40 minutes northeast of Birmingham, out in the sticks.
Okay.
They basically put the cell phone towers up with yardsticks up here, so it's
I
kind of
got
hard
you.
to get signal.
I got you. Well, I went back over the concert details while I was trying to dial you in. It's the White House Church, correct?
Correct.
Give them the address again, because I didn't have that. That was the one thing I didn't have written down was the address.
2214 Highway 31W in White House.
One more time on the address, because part of it broke.
2214
Got it.
Highway 31W.
Okay, 2214 Highway, because there's a lot of churches around here,
White House, yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of churches. And so what's the capacity, the seating capacity? Have you got a lot of room for everybody?
Oh, no, I go to a small church. We seat about 150.
So this is a little church.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were
But-
being sarcastic for a minute. I thought, oh my gosh, you guys are going to get packed.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. We hope we are. And if they get too full, they can sit in the choir loft with us. Don't you worry. We'll put them somewhere.
Okay, very good. So guys, I think you're going to pack out now. That sounds like a wonderful show. And I mean, free show, a free Christmas show like that. Like I said, if my grandkids didn't have the flu, I'd be there in a minute. I think it just sounds wonderful. I want my grandson to see that yellow bus.
Oh, buddy, that's another reason they can look for us. All they got to do is drive down 31W and look for the bus. So if you find the bus, you found us.
That's very cool. Very cool. It looks like a wonderful show. Now, I'm looking on your Facebook page. You got some girls dressed in Santa suits in there. Do you have some?
So when we were in Arlington, Texas, every year, one of the shows we work with a local dance school, and we include the dance school in the full show with us. And that's one of the places we do it, and that's a photo of that show with the dance school.
Well, it's beautiful, and I mean, I thought, well, cool. This is like a whole entourage that's coming around here.
Yeah, we so what we try to do is one of the things that we've always wanted to do is to help the younger generation to get into it also. Like Jim said, he and myself both have theater backgrounds. My wife is a trained dancer, and so when we talked about it, we're like, why don't we go into local areas, find a dance school in that area. It gives the kids a chance to work with a national touring group, and also gives us a chance to find a community in that area that has representation and can get the word out, kind of be boots on the ground for us. And so that's what we do. It gives us them a chance to work with us and us a chance to meet new people. So it works out really well.
That's always the theater show. The theater show always has dancers at it, which is the full production. When we go to a church, we don't do that. Some of the churches wouldn't go for that.
Well, also, some of the churches don't have enough size.
True. Some of them don't have a big enough. I think this would be a fun show to bring to. I'm part of the Madison Church of Christ in Nashville, up at Gallatin and Old Hickory Boulevard. And I think this would be a great venue for y'all to do this show. Maybe next year we need to get on your schedule. I'll have to talk to the powers that be, because I think this would be a wonderful show.
We'd love to.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to talk. We'll have to talk. I'll give you guys my number. I give it out all the time. So if you've got somewhere to write it down so y'all can text me. But my number is 615 594 7736.
7736.
Yeah, 615-594-7736. And if you're somebody, I give that out if somebody wants to be on the show. I tell everybody to text me because I'm a school teacher now. And so I'm in class and things like that, so I can't take phone calls usually. But between radio and teaching school, my phone stays on Do Not Disturb most of the time. So text me, and I will pitch it to the leadership at church, because we're an a cappella church. But we will, I mean, it's a great venue, and I have seen them bring in, shows, with instruments and all that kind of thing. And there's quite a few of us there that attend that love the contemporary Christian worship. And we'd love to add that, but, we're not in charge. So, you know how it goes. But I think that would be a wonderful show. And I don't know if you've ever been to our auditorium was designed on the same pattern as the mother church, the Ryman. And it's got the incredible acoustics. It is just a wonderful auditorium. It is absolutely spectacular when it comes to the acoustics. And, man, that would be a fun show to bring into our congregation next year. Oh, my gosh, we need to do this, guys. I think that would be wonderful. I'll start working on it, and but y'all message me, and God bless y'all. I think you just sound like a wonderful group and just a whole lot of fun. So as far as you're taking January off, and then you hit the road, how can you give me? I know we're just about out of time. I'm waiting for Kathy to come walking in. I've got a guest coming up at 7:30. So what do your shows look like through the rest of the year?
It depends on the venue. If it's churches, we do our contemporary, our own Christian country music.
Okay.
We've got songwriters that we work with that write originals for us. If it is say it's a fair or a casino or someplace like that, we have a show that we call a Night of Kickin' Country, and we do a mix of our original country music and a mix of 90s drive-in country. And so it just depends on the venue we're at and what the show that they request and what they want us to do. We cater it to the audience that's in front of us. No two shows are the same, and we make sure that everybody that comes out gets what they want and what they expect.
I love it. And
Our producer,
go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, our producer produced our last album. It was Dolly Parton's producer, so that gives you kind of an idea of the level of work that we're doing.
Well, if you've been doing this full time for as long as you've been doing it, that says something to the quality of show you're doing, or you still wouldn't be doing it. So
I appreciate that.
I mean, you just don't do this. You're just not in this business doing what you're doing and being able to make a living at it unless you're good. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I've been around this industry long enough to understand that. But it looks like you guys have a absolute blast. I'm looking at your Facebook and stuff, and I do need to know, how can I get one of these buses? I need one of those buses
You,
from. Can I order one, or what,
well,
or do you
yeah.
have to be at
I'll
the
tell you
show?
what. We'll text you, and we'll make sure that you're taking. We'll make sure to get you a way to get one.
Well,
So, what our big push is that the only place at concerts, but
okay.
we can make sure that happens for you.
And like I said, I would love to be there tomorrow night, but we've been dealing with flu, and it's just this is not the time of year for that. Unfortunately, this area, I don't know if you've been touring. Good Pastor School, they shut it down. They had so many kids missing. One of the funniest things. My friend Darlene Sweet is a teacher there, and and she's at the middle school, and they had the kids in the auditorium, and they having a little assembly, and made the announcement, we're canceling finals. And sending you home. Mayhem ensued, but
Oh,
some,
I bet.
yeah. But I was looking at the crowd of kids because she had a little video of it, and man, it was empty. Just everybody's sick. So be careful, wash your hands, and do all that, and don't be hugging everybody, y'all, because we got a lot of
We
flu in this area right now.
we tell people be careful, be respectful. It's okay to hug a hand, just don't lick your neighbor.
There you go. I love that. That's great. That is great, guys. Very, very good. Well, anything else that we've missed? My guest has not showed up unless, Kathy, you're out there somewhere and I haven't seen you. But we can keep
No,
talking.
just
But go
make
ahead.
sure that let people to find us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything there is out there. And like we said, all of our music is on every streaming platform you've got, whether it's Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, Amazon. You come find us, listen to it, and drop us a message. We'd love to hear from everybody.
And we're going to look for the song Christmas Around the World.
Yep, Christmas all over the world.
Christmas all over the world. Christmas all
Yep.
over the world. Okay. Is there a song that you've got that's in your, not Christmas music that you're real proud of that you want to say, hey, look this one up?
HRSRCC. I know that's a lot of letters, but it's
Say-
Straight Country stands for HRSRCC is what the title is. Stands for Hillbilly Redneck Southern Rebel Country Club.
All right. I love it. That just sounds, I mean, this is fun. I've worked in radio in Nashville since 1984, and it's just like what you were saying, him telling you to have a show. That makes
Yep.
such a difference because I've been to so many concerts, and I get tired of just concerts, and I like
Yep.
a show. I don't know, have y'all ever met Adam Pope, Adam and Amy Pope?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I can't place why I would know them.
Well, they kind of they do a show, you know what I mean? And y'all would get
Yeah.
along really well. And so if you're ever looking for somebody to kind of do some shows with, you guys would be, y'all would be two peas in a pod because
That's awesome.
from the sound of what you guys do, that's what, they're a husband-wife team. And,
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
yeah, and they travel in. They've got a cool little ride that they travel in, and so they're a lot of fun too. But y'all would really jive well. We'll have to see if we can't make a connection because I think y'all would have a lot in common. And you love putting on those shows where you can get together with other groups and things like that. So you just never know. But it sounds like y'all stay plenty busy on your own.
Hey, we love working with people though. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so very good. Well, tell them about the show tomorrow night one more time, and then we'll go ahead and finish up with you guys.
It's going to be at the White House Church in White House, Tennessee at 2214 Highway 31W. And it starts at 7 p.m.
All right. Well, good deal, guys. Thank you so much. I enjoyed talking with y'all. Y'all have a safe time, okay, as you're traveling.
You too. Merry Christmas. You have
Merry
a safe
Christmas.
holiday.
Absolutely. Look forward to meeting you guys sometimes. God bless y'all.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
That's Mark209. I love the name, guys. That is so cool. What a creative name. If you missed the first part of the show, they named themselves after Exit 209, which, as soon as they started talking, I can't begin to tell you how much stuff I covered on Exit 209 in Nashville because, that's where it all happens. It's right there in downtown. And so that really kind of made my day, my old traffic reporter days. Okay, so here's what's supposed to be happening. Right now, we have not heard from Kathy Gunn is supposed to be coming in here. I talked to the folks. I talked to Brian you know how you say you talk to people and you're actually just texting them? So Brian and we were texting yesterday, and Kathy Gunn is coming in from the YMCA, and she is not here. So I'm not sure if she's still planning on coming in. but we're going to message them and see what happens. But maybe she'll come on in here. But I'd love to talk to him at the Y. I've known Kathy actually for a long time because, you talk about different things you've done. I actually did a stint at the Y, and a lot of it kind of spun off from whenever, I don't know, people don't realize, my family back, oh my gosh, how many years has it been? Jillian Michaels from The Biggest Loser came and did a show at my house. They were doing a family fitness show about families getting in shape and all this kind of stuff. And so we ended up doing the show with her, and we had so much fun doing it, but we got really connected to the Y through that. And I guess it was probably right after that I worked at the Y for a little while, and I did like I don't even know, it was almost like a, it's almost very similar to the kind of stuff we do with Celebrate Recovery. And it's talking about, getting beyond the issues in your life. And then we had a book that somebody from the Y had published. But anyway, I did that for a little while and got to know the folks at the Y. And if you've never been to the Y, oh my gosh, what a great place. It is it is a wonderful place. I know there's a lot of people. I'll run into them and they'll be like, wow, I was up at the Y this morning. And it becomes a community. If you're looking for a place to check into community, first I'll advise you find a church. But I can also tell you that the YMCA is a community. And it is just a beautiful place to go and check in and really just have a wonderful time with the folks that are there. So I can highly recommend that. I know with the new fitness center coming in, I think there's probably a little bit of angst about, okay, is that going to hurt the Y or what is it going to do? And I can't think of the name of the gym. I mean, everybody's seen the signs there where we've got this, is it Planet Fitness? Yeah, Planet Fitness is coming in. And so from somebody that really wants the Y to do well, I want to make sure people don't, neglect our YMCA because that's a community thing. You think about the things, I'm thrilled for the business to be coming in and, anything we can do to, make our community better. But, I'm looking over here at the Y and going, oh man, I don't want that to hurt that because it's that they do so much for the community, guys. The stuff that they do for kiddos, there are so many kids programs. When I was working there, people talk about, well, it's cost this, it costs that. But there are so many discounted programs that they have for kids that, maybe don't have the finance to be able to pay for memberships. They do all kinds of discounted memberships for different groups. And there are just so many different avenues for kiddos that are in households that can't afford it to be able to come in and go to the Y. And they just have just wonderful, wonderful programs for kids. Of course, they facilitate a lot of the soccer leagues and things like that. So it's just a wonderful thing. But it is really cool. But anyway, if you want to check out the Y, that would be a great way to do it. To go in there and just be sure and support them. Again, Kathy, we're just not sure what happened to Kathy, but Kathy Gunn's supposed to be popping in here today to talk to us, and everybody's going, I'm texting and seeing what happened to her, and so we're going to try to reach out to her and see what's going on. But while we're waiting on an answer from that, let me go ahead and talk about our sponsor. We've got Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Everyone knows these are dear friends of mine. They have been sponsoring this program from the very get-go. And full-time sponsors, cannot say enough about them, that they are so busy in the community. I love going and checking out their Facebook pages and seeing what's happening because that kind of keeps me up to date on all the things that they're doing with the community. They had this like a food drive that they did back during Thanksgiving. If there is any kind of an event in the community where they're setting up tables and tents and all those, they're always in the middle of it. I find their sponsorship banners everywhere. They care about their community. Barry, the marketing expertise that he brings to the table, he uses that to showcase Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center. When we have those dinners, those videos that are produced, Barry takes care of that. Cannot say enough about these folks and how much they care about their community. And that gives you an idea about how much they're going to care about what's going on with you, whether you're buying or selling. If you're coming to the table, one of the first things they're going to do is sit down at the table with you, and if you're buying, and see how much house you can afford to buy. That's one of the first things you need to do is just see what you qualify for. That is the big issue when you're first starting to look into purchasing. And then if it comes into selling property, you want to make sure you're getting top dollar for your property, and you want to make sure it's being seen in the best light. Barry's the marketer of the team. When he comes in and he takes care of the videography and the photography and the walkthrough tours and all of those things, your property is going to pop in a way that is going to make sure that when it gets a set of eyes, it's going to pause and it's going to give it a thorough look to make sure you get the absolute best benefit from people taking a look at your property. Because so many people buy property just by putting in a zip code, and they start flipping through them, kind of like people date now. That's just horrifying to me. People date by flipping through listings like that. But they do the same thing with houses. So you want it to pop, and you want to make sure you've got all those pictures and video, drone footage, all the things. They're going to make sure of it. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, specifically trained to help you. If you're somebody that's wanting to downsize and do something a little different, she can help you with that. And they also understand the nuances of living in Kentucky and working in Tennessee. Kentucky has state income tax. Tennessee doesn't. What does that mean? They can help you with that. They're from Kentucky like me, but they've been up here in Robertson County for nearly 30 years, just like me. We got here about the same time, I think. And they're in Cross Plains, Cross Plainians, we call them. So they specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Here's Rebecca's number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. When you talk to them, please always let them know that U-Turn sent you. And as we get back into the show this morning, okay, you know that, if somebody doesn't show up, that means that I just get to talk, and I can tell you about all the parent, and you're kind of wondering what's going on because I'm a teacher. The way that we structure it in high school is we have finals on, like this week we had finals for, because we're on the block schedule. So we had finals for third and fourth block yesterday, and we have finals today for first and second block. So your kiddos probably came and said, I need a note so I can leave school as soon as second block's over. And so that's what's going to happen today, because I know a lot of you guys, if you've got middle school and elementary, tomorrow's your half day. But you're going to be seeing all the high schools let out today. A lot of kids are going to be let out today after second block. And the reason why is because they are going to be, with a parent note, able to leave after second block, because then they're done. And so that's happening today. So just kind of get ready for that. The high schools are going to be sending the kiddos out, a lot of them midday, and some of them will stay and ride the buses, later today, because maybe they just don't have anybody at home and the parents don't want them there by themselves. So we have something for them to do this afternoon, and they can hang out at the school. Tomorrow, as far as high school is concerned, that's a makeup day for us. As far as the teachers will be there, we'll be there until midday. But that's a day that they can come in and make up work. They can make up tests, things like that. And then we will be off for Christmas break. Schools will be closed for the next 2 weeks. So schools will be completely closed. Now, we will reopen on the 6th with teachers reporting for a professional development day, but the kiddos will not return until the 7th. So that's the way it's structured in Robertson County. And I know, even though you've got kids in school, sometimes you go, okay, what? I'm not sure what the dates are. And it's really cool because our school board publishes those so far in advance. I mean, they've already got the calendar out, not just for the upcoming school year, 25-26. I think they've already approved the 26-27 calendar, if I'm not mistaken, from what Dr. Weeks was telling me the other day. So that's incredible. So that way you can, if you need to plan, trips or anything like that, you can take care of that and get all that on your schedule and not have any issues with it. But again, we were anticipating getting a visit from Kathy Gunn today. And if something happens, things happen, people get sick and all those things, and you just never know what's going to happen. But I do want to remind you to really check out the Y. If you have not done that, I've worked there, cannot say enough about the Y. They got a great pool facility. I love their they got a steam room, y'all. Oh, I love that steam room, and the hot tubs and all that kind of thing. So if you're somebody that's got a bad cold, go hop in the steam room. It's very nice. But they've got all the facilities you need at the Y to get fit and to join the YMCA family. So go and check them out. Great stuff for the kiddos in the community, and they do a lot of other programs. I know. The ABC program, the After Breast Cancer program, my friend Sally Shawman has worked with that forever. I'm not sure she's still part of that, but I know that they do an amazing, amazing work. So I can't say enough about the why, but maybe Kathy will come popping in here and we can talk to her for a few minutes. We've got just a little bit of the show left. And as we're kind of unpacking what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks with Christmas coming up, I'm going to be taking some time off. Lee Marie is going to be filling in for me next week. Now I'm around on all through the next. I'm not going anywhere, but I didn't know if we're planning on doing a show on Christmas Eve. I know Christmas Day we will not. Lee Marie is going to talk to Ilyu Maldonado, our president of the Ebenezer Broadcasting here, and she may do a Christmas Eve show. I'm not sure. But I know I had opted not to do one that day. I just want to take the day off with my family. But so she may do a Christmas Eve show. I will not be here Monday. And then she'll be filling in Monday for sure, possibly Tuesday. We will not have shows on Christmas Day, but of course we'll have wonderful music for you to listen to through the day as you enjoy the day with your family. I will be here on the 26th. One of the main reasons I want to come in and do the show on the 26th is because that's the start of Hanukkah. And I love all things with Jewish history. And so we're going to unpack the story of Hanukkah on that Thursday. And that's not to say, I'm not an expert in it, but I've studied it pretty deeply. And yes, I'll bring in my Hanukkah. And we'll talk about the difference between a Hanukkah and a menorah and all of those things. And it is a fascinating story. Christ celebrated Hanukkah when he, we have reference of that in our scriptures where he goes in during the festival. And so that's something that he would have been there for, he would have been familiar with. And so I think it's something that I think we forget. This is but anyway, that Kathy had an issue this morning, so it doesn't look like she's going to be joining us. So that's okay. Stuff happens. But anyway, whenever we look at our Christian faith and we talk about how things happened with the early church and how we went from being Jewish to Christian, it's like a lot of people want to have this concept that at the resurrection that everything became Christian. These were still Jewish people that became followers of Jesus Christ. And so all of this beautiful tradition that they had and all these beautiful festivals and all these things that they did as Jewish people, they continued on. And, we have references where, where Peter is going into the temple and those kinds of things. And they were still doing that. The day of Pentecost, whenever they were there in the upper room, if you really study deeply into that, I don't know, as the church tradition I was taught was that they were in an upper room somewhere. They were in a room somewhere hiding, right? Well, no, because that was during a time when they would be at the temple. And if you look at Herod's temple and the way he built that, there were all kinds of rooms and special places where they could go and have meetings and have gatherings. And so Ray Vanderlaan, I love that guy. Thank you to the Hagans for introducing me to his material. But he's just fabulous. But Ray Vanderlaan does, and I forget exactly which segment it is, but he has this kind of walkthrough. They have in Israel this model of Israel and the temple and all of that at about the time of Christ. And so he's going through and showing you this really cool model of how the temple would have looked at the time when Christ was walking the earth that Herod built. And it's amazing. It is just amazing. But he kind of shows you where on the day of Pentecost, he was like, you see these upper rooms here, he's pointing to the model, and he says, archaeologists and people who've studied the history of the early church believe that's probably where they were. They were probably not in some obscure upper room, because if they came out after the Holy Spirit descended upon them and there's people everywhere, well, where would that be? It'd be at the temple, right? And so as they came out and everybody was hearing all these other languages, everybody would be there at the temple. And then it goes on to say about how they baptized 3,000 people. He said, where else would you be able to baptize 3,000 people except around the temple where they had all these mikvahs? All the ceremonial places where you could be cleansed. That's a mikvah's place where they would go in and do ceremonial, water cleansing before they would go into the temple. And so he says, you have all these mikvahs there at the temple. where else could you perform that many baptisms? And there's another part of this, and this isn't really part of the Hanukkah thing, so I'll go ahead and kind of elaborate on this a little bit. If you look at Mount Sinai, whenever Moses came down and they were worshiping the golden calf and all this, and there were 3,000 that ended up losing their life because of what they did with the golden calf, right? And so the way you look at the way Scripture connects, all these different connections, it's just breathtaking when you see how things from Old Testament connect with things from New Testament. If you really look at the words spoken by Jesus Christ, he's quoting Tanakh, what the Jewish people would call, what we call Old Testament, they call the Tanakh, and the scriptures that they had. When he's talking, he's quoting their biblical text. He's quoting what they've all learned. And so when you see how this all intertwines, what happened on the day of Pentecost is what they would call a remez. It's a remembrance, or it's a restoration of those who were lost because of the golden calf incident, and they were restored. That same number was restored on the day of Pentecost. So it's just amazing when you look at all this stuff. I love studying this, and if I'm boring you, I'm so sorry, but it's so cool. And I can't tell you enough about how much this stuff will change you if you get into it and you learn it. And it's going to probably mess with some of the things as traditional things that you do in church. And there's nothing in the world wrong with our traditions, guys, as long as it's not preventing somebody from following the call of Christ on their life. That would be the one thing I would say to that. And so that has been the thing that I have really struggled with as a woman in the church and not just the Church of Christ, but I'm talking Big C Church, the church as a whole, all of us together, is the differences for men and women in the church. And as a woman who has felt called to preach, who has felt called to lead worship my entire life, as a very young child, and been denied that opportunity to do that, absolutely told no, that's a problem. And it's not, it used to be my opinion, and I struggled with it, but I have studied, I have done the study, and I am thoroughly convinced we have been wrong. And we've got to fix this. And I don't know how God's going to have me unpack that for people. I really don't. I'm working on it. And I'm waiting on him, because that's one thing I've learned too. I love to write and I love to present things. But if God isn't the one bringing it, then I need to stop and pause and wait on him. Because how many times I did a little series for about 2 years on Facebook. I thought, okay, nobody will let me preach, so I need to just preach. And so I put something on Facebook. I started putting it on social media, and I called it Good Morning Church. And I would put just a blog post up every Sunday morning, and it was kind of my way of just kind of sharing what God's put on my heart. And at first, it just flowed because there was something that I wanted to share and all that. And then as it became a struggle to come up with something that I thought mattered every Sunday. And I thought, boy, this must be how preachers feel, trying to come up with content to keep the congregation engaged. I can't imagine. God bless you guys that are in those pulpits every Sunday. Oh, my goodness. Because just after a couple of years of trying to come up with something that I think people would want to be, to check out, I was like, all right. It became I was having to force it. And so that's when I stepped back and I stopped. The most powerful things God's ever allowed me to present have not been things that I've forced, but when I sit down to write them, they just flow. And I can't explain it, but that's just how, I've had blogs that I've written over the years. I think, oh, I'm going to write this, but I kind of write it for me and not him, and they go nowhere. And then I'll sit down and write something. If a lot of this gender stuff that's going on. I wrote a blog right after Bruce Jenner all that was happening. And it was right after my time at the Blaze. I had just left the Blaze, and there was so much going on with Jenner, and it just bothered me so much because I was the epitome of the tomboy growing up. I was if I had been growing up in this day and time, they would have been putting me into counseling. They would, my parents probably would, I don't know what they would, how they would have done, but because of the way society is right now, they'd be like, oh, she needs to probably, consider gender change because she's so adamantly does not want to be a girl. Guys, I'm so thankful nobody bothered me because I was just a tomboy. I just followed my daddy around. I was just that kid. And I love my life. I still love putting on my jeans and going out and chopping wood and doing all those things and just getting dirty and playing outside in the dirt and the woods. I love that more than anything. But I love being a woman. And it mortifies me that somebody could have messed with that. Well, I wrote a blog, and this is one that just had been bothering me because of all what was happening with Jenner. And so I sat down and wrote it, and it was called I wished I had been born a boy. I think is what I titled it. And I sat down and wrote that literally in, I think, 30 minutes. And I put it up on, and I wrote it through WordPress and put it up on Facebook, and it went crazy viral immediately. And I mean, crazy viral. I mean, I was getting calls from people, all over the country. It was crazy. Glenn, talked about it on the show, because I had just left the Blaze and we were still communicating pretty good. And so, it went nuts because it struck a chord with people. But what my point of that is I didn't force it. Because it had been something I've been thinking about doing, and I let God do it. So, all the things that I feel God doing in my life right now about the things I think I'm supposed to share, I'm waiting on Him. I'm not procrastinating. I'm waiting on Him. So stay tuned, I guess, for what's coming up. And we'll see what God does with me in 2025. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I feel like I'm just getting started. I love that, I love that idea. And that's what's the comedian's name? I always forget her name. Leanne Morgan. Yes, Leanne Morgan. So wonderful, so funny from up here in Adams. And she says that all the time. And she's younger than me. Not a lot, but she's younger than me. And she says, just getting started to her kind of thing. And I kind of feel the same way, but from a ministry perspective. So I feel like I'm just getting started. So we'll see what God does with it. But again, my schedule, I will not be here. I'll be here tomorrow. Rachel Culver's here tomorrow. So, that's always fun when I get my girls in here. So Rachel will be here tomorrow for Faith Friday. Lee Marie's covering for me on Monday. Not sure if we're having a Christmas Eve show. I know we won't have a Christmas Day show. And then I will be here on the 26th to talk to you guys about the first day of Hanukkah and encourage you to celebrate Hanukkah with your family. But we'll do that on the 29th of the 26th. The 27th, I'm having shoulder replacement, y'all. So that's my last crazy surgery this year. When you meet that deductible, you just got to roll with it, right? So I'm having that done, but I'm super excited about it, quite frankly. And I can't wait to I'm going to be the bionic woman, so that's cool. But that's what's going on with me. And then I'll be off that following week, and then I'll be back with you when we head back to school on the 6th. But Lee Marie's going to be filling in for me. So there you go. Merry Christmas, y'all. It's been a fun show. Go check out Mark209 tomorrow night at the White House Church. That show starts at 7. It's free. Not a huge seating capacity, so you better get on down there. But it sounds like an absolutely fun, fabulous show. And, I got a feeling if you come away from that not in the Christmas spirit, well, there's just something wrong with you guys. But anyway, thank you for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day.